Something new today, with a Republican being pretty upset with the Obama administration for not cracking down on states that are defying federal law and instead are decriminalizing marijuana. It's a big, horrific thing for Senator Chuck Grassley, who is very upset. He's a Republican from Iowa. He took to the floor to criticize Obama for allowing states to also weaken the punishment and give judges the discretion to reduce any sentences to drug offenders for below the mandatory minimum sentencing. Let's take a look.
Typical with this administration's pattern of disregarding the law, it is not taking action in most situations where states have enacted laws decriminalizing marijuana, even though that is contrary to the federal law. Do you think that the Obama administration would stand silently by if a state enacted laws that allow guns rather than drugs to be sold inconsistently with federal law? Well, of course not.
Now, is that even a legitimate question?
First of all, the hypocrisy is so off the charts. It's insane because Republicans are always talking about states' rights. So if you're for states' rights, then if California has decided to make medicinal marijuana legal, then you would never want the feds to come in and close. But by the way, the feds do that often, including there's a marijuana dispensary only a couple blocks from my apartment, and they close that one out of nowhere. So they're still infringing on states' rights. So he should be slightly happy about that.
So you're saying that he's actually changing, he's not being consistent
intellectually
in his criteria.
What?
He's not being consistent in his criteria in judging his political opponents?
It's almost as if I don't know what these people are always doing. That got me so worked up. It was the weed thing I got, yeah.
So yeah, that's exactly, I was going to make that same point about states' rights, but you talked first, so you got to get it.
You can go with it.
Oh,
what else you got?
That was all I had.
How about local municipalities' rights? Because you're big on that, I know too.
But again, if there is a better guy to make the case anti-marijuana and pro-guns. Oh boy, I got to tell you, that's what he's saying. It's like, if they enacted a gun, he'd be all over the guns. And people are like, yeah, I hope so. I hope he would be all over the gun. They're on the wrong side of all these issues. Chuck Grassley on the wrong side of marijuana. It's like, hey, why don't you come out against the goddamn lyrics in the songs anymore? Why don't you guys upset about that anymore?
Yeah.
Remember, that's what he looks like, right? One of those guys, oh, get off my lawn, damn kids with the marijuana.
It's almost as if it's not actually about the policy that he's specifically complaining about. Almost as if, I don't know, maybe he's talking about this specific issue with the judge's discretion to reduce mandatory sentencing because that means fewer people are going to be going to prison, to private prisons that make money off of the federal government for running those private prisons for them.
Yeah, you think Chuck Grassley might get a taste of that money from the private prisons? Do you think he might be getting a taste? I'm going to say Chuck Grassley's corrupt. I bet he gets some of that money. I'm not saying it for sure. This is my opinion, so you can't sue me, you corrupt motherfucker. How about that?
I mean, because obviously mandatory minimum sentencing has been a total disaster, not only just in drug policy, because it doesn't work, it doesn't prevent people from using drugs. In fact, all it does is it fills up the prisons and ruins people's lives for minor, non-violent infractions.
Yeah.
It's fun to see these guys just still, he was elected probably, I think, Chuck Grassley to the Senate somewhere in the 1860s.
1862,
it's nice to see him still fighting the old battles, right? They're still against gay mayors. They're still against, the earth has shifted underneath these guys and they have no idea what they're doing. And, just to see Lindsey Graham get called out on Fox, they're getting called out by Fox News. That's how bad these guys are. Hey, what's your plan for health care? We should have one. Well, why don't you have one yet? That happened on Fox News. So Chuck Grassley, I don't know, they say the midterms are going to be bad for the Democrats. Boy, the gerrymandering must really, really work because these guys could not be more out of touch with the electorate right now. They just keep appealing to a smaller and more narrow group of people, and I guess they get used to losing because they lost to a black guy with a Muslim name twice. You sons of bitches, and you own the media.
Right, but of course we do have the difference now with campaign finance, the McCutcheon ruling that's going to open the floodgates to advertising. So
I had just been saying we needed more money in politics. I was just saying it the day before on the show. We needed more money in politics.
You know what? The only thing that can fix money in politics is more money in politics. Wolf-pack.com.
But Yes. So what I think is really surprising about this is, are the Democrats going to take advantage of this? I mean, are any of the political parties going to take advantage of this sweeping change that has come through so quickly on the decriminalization of marijuana? If Democrats will snatch victory or defeat from this particular move, because it looks like the Republicans are not planning on taking advantage of the clear Americans, the polls of Americans showing that Americans really are in favor, very rapidly now changing to have marijuana be decriminalized. So are they going to take advantage of it? Are they going to drop the ball? What's going to happen?
When you say take advantage, you mean
politically. I mean politically.
What I hear
is
that they should try to. I think if they were smart, they would try to get pot legalization on the ballots in places. Like, they're not going to do it in California now because I don't know why. They're going to wait till the presidential election.
We already have medicinal marijuana here in the state of California, unlike Colorado and Washington that have recreational marijuana available to anybody.
Yeah, by the way, in Colorado, the first month that recreational marijuana was legal, they made $14 million in tax money on marijuana. So if you were a fiscal conservative and want alternate, so you think
what about all the rapes and murders?
And crime went down, actually. We did a story on that.
Yes, crime went down.
So what? Can't we lie about it a little?
Yes, we can, and yes, they will.
Can we demigod this a little?
But that's the thing. It's the intellectual dishonesty that bothers me. That's the stuff that I still just can't believe the audacity of these guys. So the people that want small government...
The audacity of dope.
That's my new book. I'm writing that one down. But the lack of intellectual honesty. You want small government, but you want to know what people are doing in their bedroom. You want small government, but you want to know what people are smoking. You know, like... They have to pick a side, and I think it would be more consistent. But in this regard, Obama also has not been intellectually honest because he has done all this talk about weed and even saying it's less, it's not as bad as alcohol and things like that. But he still does have the feds closing down some of these dispensaries, as I said earlier.
Yes,
so they're all using weed as a little
political football.
As a political football to figure out maybe in 2014, but really I think 2016.
For opportunistic uses.
Yeah.
See, I personally think that looking forward, I would bet that the Democrats will basically lose on this. That they will not take advantage of the fact that the youth vote would be drawn out. I think with if you had decriminalizing marijuana on the ballot, I don't think they're going to take advantage of that. I think they're going to run away and hide from it and say, oh, it's still drugs. I don't know what to do with it.
What if they gave out a nug at polling places?
Oh.
You know what I mean? Show up to vote and you get just a little something, not a big bag of weed, but just a little nug.
I bet they'd really increase turnout at that
that's
point.
what I'm saying.
It'd be really illegal, but that's okay.
Small steps.